Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that connects literally every single one of us, human reproduction. We're going to break down that incredible journey our bodies go on to, well, be able to create new life. And it all kicks off with a really simple question. So take a look at this. It's kind of a random mix of things, right? We've got a worm, a car, a cloud, a person, even the sun. They all exist in our world, but there's a huge difference between them. Okay, so here's the big question. Which of these are actually alive? I mean, it seems kind of obvious at first, doesn't it? But what's the real line in the sand between something living, like a spider, and something non-living, like a car, or even fire? The answer, well, it's a lot more structured than you might think.
And that brings us right to our first section. See, the secret to answering that question is understanding this shared set of rules that all life has to follow. Scientists call them life processes.
What's pretty amazing is that every living thing you see here, the cactus, the whale, the human, they're all playing by the same rulebook. They all share 7 basic processes. You can think of it like a universal checklist for being alive. And here they are. You've got respiration, movement, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. Every single one is absolutely essential. Now, our main event today is reproduction, but just so you get a feel for how fundamental this stuff is, let's quickly define another one. Let's take respiration. This isn't just about breathing in and out. It's the critical chemical reaction happening inside our cells that turns oxygen into the energy we need to do, well, everything. And all 7 of these processes are just as important. But to really get a handle on reproduction in humans, we have to talk about growing up first. So that brings us to the science of growing up. Let's take a look at the incredible biological journey that gets the human body ready to perform one of its most vital jobs. And the main stage of this journey has a name: puberty. Simply put, this is when the human body goes through this massive transformation to become sexually mature. It's basically the biological bridge that makes reproduction even possible. So when does all this actually kick off? Well, for most girls, the first signs start showing up around age 10 or 11. For boys, it's usually a little later, maybe 11 to 12. But, and this is super important to remember, these are just averages. Everybody's got their own unique clock, you know. And this gets to a really crucial point. Puberty isn't just about the stuff you can see on the outside. It's this whole cascade of changes happening on the inside too, all working together to get the body ready for what's next. Which leads us perfectly into our next bit. Let's get a little more specific and break down the exact changes that happen during puberty for both males and females. You know, this Venn diagram is a fantastic way to picture it. You've got some changes that are unique to females, some that are unique to males, and then a whole bunch of stuff that happens to everyone, right there in the middle where the circles overlap. All right, let's dive into this. For females, we're talking about really key changes, like menstruation starting and hips getting wider, all to prepare the body for potentially having a baby down the line. For males, you see things like the voice getting deeper and the body starting to produce sperm. But check out that middle section. That's the stuff that happens to pretty much everyone. We're talking growth spurts, maybe some acne, and new hair growth. It's all part of the body growing up. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the when, but the biggest question is why? I mean, why do our bodies go through all this stuff? And that brings us to our final section, the big picture. You know, the source material really nails it here. It's all about reaching sexual maturity. Those 2 words are the key that unlocks the whole purpose of this really complex biological process. So here's the bottom line. Every single change we just talked about, inside and out, is happening for one main reason: to get the body ready for that key life process we mentioned right at the beginning: reproduction. So let's do a quick recap of what we've covered, shall we? We kicked things off with the 7 processes that actually define life. Then we zoomed right into puberty, breaking down the specific changes for males and females. And finally, we tied it all together, explaining why this whole transformation is so incredibly important for any species to continue. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. We know reproduction is absolutely vital for the species to continue, right? But what about for you? Just for your own day-to-day survival, which of those other 6 life processes do you think is the most critical? Is it respiration? Nutrition? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.